4 times Formula One world champion, current Ferrari driver, the one and only Sebastian Vettel. Sebastian, we heard a lot of talk there in the opening speeches about the passion. Motorsport has to be about passion. So let's take you right back. Where did the passion for this sport first get sparked off for you as a young German kart racer?
Even before I started, well, first of all, good afternoon. Even before I started racing, so I think the fact that my father used to do some amateur hill climb racing brought me very close to motorsport at early age. The whole family was traveling together to the various races, and so we got involved, and I guess as soon as I was stable enough with walking at the age of 3.5, for some coincidence, all of a sudden the next Christmas I had a go-kart under the Christmas tree waiting for me, and that's how I started. At that time my father, as I said, was racing. He was a massive Formula One fan, a Senna fan, and then obviously a Michael Schumacher fan. And so I got going, so to say, and we started really not having any idea. The first race I competed, I was 7 years old, and really from then onwards, step by step, it just the go-karts and later on the cars just got a little bit bigger every time and every year. So that's how I got started when I was very young.
We were talking when you arrived today about the appeal of this sport, you know, the rawness of it, the extremeness of that side of motorsport. You refer a lot back to the past. I know you're very aware, you're unusual for a Grand Prix driver in that you actually read a bit about the history, you know a lot about the history of Ferrari, for example. But what for you is the essential appeal of motorsport?
Well, I think the word has been mentioned now many times, is the passion. I think the passion for speed, certainly the moment I started competing, the passion for competition, to measure yourself against others, and to make a point and trying to be the best. I think that's what it's all about in the end of the day. And obviously racing has a great history. Formula One has a great history. So being able to race is, I think, a great honor, and racing for, arguably the biggest team in the world with the most significant history in racing, again, is a massive honor. So I think you have it or you don't, but the thrill for speed, the excitement you get when you drive one of these cars, I think is uncomparable, and is what drives me in the end.
Sebastian, you come from an ordinary background. You had the support as a young driver to climb the ladder. How hard is it to get that support?
Very difficult. I think, again, to jump back, when I was young, we had no idea when I started, and it was a really nice time because, don't forget at that age you are a kid. When I was 7, 8, 10, 12 years old, I remember I was go-karting, was trying to go flat out and obviously race as hard as I could, but the moment I stopped, I was playing in the dirt with toy cars and with the other drivers. So that was a very nice time, but obviously at some point it started to be a bit more serious than that. You needed to have support, you needed to have the money through sponsors and sponsorships, so it was very tricky, also as a young boy, to experience that, because all you want to do is to race. You don't really care, where or how the bills get paid. But for sure, it also allows you. I think racing world is a world where you mature very early, because you have a lot of interaction with adults, and racing in that regard becomes very serious at an early point in your life. So I was I'm very grateful that I had people looking after me initially, and then obviously the support later on through Red Bull and BMW in the opening stages of my career were crucial. Otherwise, it's hardly impossible. If you don't have people willing to help, willing to give you that support, willing to pay your bills, it's very difficult to climb up the ladder.
You're racing at one of the most technologically advanced eras, clearly. I mean, progress makes it that way, doesn't it? There's ever been, and there was a lot of talk at the weekend in Baku about how sophisticated these cars are that you're managing. it's an amazing thing, but what do you think are the good things that have come out of this technological advancement?
Well, I think the best thing that came out is that the fact that the cars are very quick. So I think if you look where the cars were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30, 40, 50 years ago, and where they are now, obviously technology has allowed the cars to get a lot quicker, which is obviously more exciting to drive. The feeling, the sensation you get is incredible. But on top of that, obviously, it has also been mentioned before, safety. I think we've learned, very, very much through the experiences, good and bad, in the past, and we're able to improve the formulas. We've, working very, very hard on the racetracks, and all the modern technologies, in short, allow us to, come up with a so far the best package I think that we've ever had.
But what about the season that's going on so far? I mean, obviously you came in with a lot of expectations. I was with you at the new car launch. It's a great car, and you've been pretty close. You're almost there now for being able to win on a regular basis and challenge the Mercedes, right?
Yeah, I mean, we still have a long way to go. I think when the moment I joined the team, obviously there was a lot of things changing. So it still takes some time, but we don't allow ourselves to take that time. We have very, very ambitious targets, and obviously great competition, but ultimately we want to prove the point that we are the best. We want to win. So naturally, after a great season last year where we finished second in the World Constructors Championship, we want to step up already this year. Currently, we're still lacking a little bit speed here and there, but it's getting better, as you mentioned. I think the car has great potential. The people are coming along, so the whole project starts to roll, starts to move in the right direction. So I'm confident that we'll have a bright future.
So this whole conference is about what the sport can learn from its past, its passion, the innovation, the technology, all the great history of the sport. What are the key things it needs to take and keep in terms of shaping its future? So sum up for us what recommendations you would make.
Yeah, well, obviously it's my opinion, but I think, what fascinated me as a child was the speed. I think racing should keep, its core pillars. Speed is one essential one. I think the passion for speed, as I said earlier, you have it or you don't, but it's exciting. I think the shame really is to sit here and try to explain to you or the audience how it feels to drive one of those cars. The best would be to invite you all and have a go, but that's
fine, no problem. We're all welcome.
rather
We're all
difficult. Ready. But I think the sensation of the speed, the cornering speeds that we can do is incredible, and I think that has remained one of the main pillars throughout. Speaking to drivers like Sir Sterling Moss, at the time it was the best cars that you could. Formula One car was the best car you could drive and the most exciting one. I think to some extent the ingredient of danger as well, because that's what makes it also exciting. Just coming from Baku last week, the circuit I think got a lot of criticism for being too dangerous. I disagree. I think the FIA and the people in Baku, the organizers, have done a hell of a job fitting that racetrack in a place where arguably it's not made for racing, but it's fantastic. It's a spectacular venue. There's very little room for error, and that's what makes it so exciting. I think that's what made it exciting in the past and what still makes it exciting today. Equally, I think, as I mentioned as well, the fact that the cars have become a lot safer obviously is a lot nicer for us because, knowing a little bit of the history, reading a bit, not being a complete specialist, so don't quiz me. But many years ago, obviously, drivers weren't as lucky. The cars weren't as safe as they are now. So I think you need to find the right compromise. So the ingredient for passion, for speed, for danger, noise is very important. Equally, we want to make the sport safer. We can't shut our eyes if bad things happen. I think we need to react, and I think we have in the last years, and we still do now. I think that's the right approach.